Hi everyone, welcome back to English Lab. I'm Luis. Today we're starting our B2 short stories series. These stories are more complex, more nuanced, and they explore deeper themes about life, identity, and the choices we make. B2 stories will challenge you with more advanced vocabulary and sophisticated narratives, but they'll also touch your heart and make you think about your own life. Download the study guide PDF in the description for vocabulary, comprehension questions, and discussion prompts. This first story is about a pivotal moment, a decision that changed the entire direction of someone's life. Let's begin. I want to tell you about a decision I made about 7 years ago. It was one of those moments where you stand at a crossroads and you know that your choice will determine the trajectory of your entire life. And I want to be honest with you, I almost made the wrong choice. At that time, I was 28 years old. I had a stable job, I had a good salary, I had an apartment, I had security. By most standards, I had made it. I had achieved the things I was supposed to achieve. But I was unhappy. I wasn't miserable. I wasn't depressed. But there was this persistent sense of emptiness. I would go to work, do my job well, come home, watch television, go to sleep, and then I would do it all again the next day. It was predictable. It was comfortable. It was also suffocating. And there was this nagging voice inside me. This voice that kept saying, "This is not your life. This is not who you are. You are capable of more. You are meant for something else." I tried to ignore that voice. I told myself, "You're ungrateful. You have a good job. Many people would want your job. What are you complaining about?" I tried to convince myself to be content with what I had. But the voice didn't stop. It got louder. Then one day, I had lunch with a friend. Let's call him Marcus. Marcus and I had been friends since university, and Marcus had done something radical about 5 years before. He had quit his corporate job, he had taken a risk, he had started his own business. His business had failed, and then he started another business. That one failed too, but he kept trying. During lunch, Marcus asked me, "Luis, are you happy?" I said, "Of course, I have a good job. I have security." He said, "That's not what I asked you. I asked if you're happy. Are you actually happy?" I couldn't answer immediately. I thought about it, and I realized, I'm not happy. I'm comfortable. But comfortable is not the same as happy. Marcus said something that completely changed how I saw my situation. He said, "Luis, you have a choice. You can spend the next 30 or 40 years being comfortable. You can retire with a pension. You can have security. But you will always wonder what you could have done if you had been brave. Or you can choose uncertainty. You can choose to fail. You can choose to try. And maybe you'll succeed. Maybe you won't. But you will know that you tried." After that lunch, I couldn't stop thinking about his words. I couldn't stop thinking about the nagging voice inside me. I couldn't stop thinking about regret. And I made a decision. I was going to quit my job. But here's the thing. I was terrified. I had never done anything like this before. I had always followed the safe path. I had always done what was expected. The idea of leaving security, of not knowing what would happen, was absolutely terrifying. I spent 2 weeks thinking about it. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat properly. I was anxious all the time. I called my mother. I told her my plan. She said, "If you think this is what you need to do, I support you. But I want to ask you a question. In 5 years, what will you regret more? Quitting your job and trying and failing? Or staying in your job and always wondering?" That question crystallized my thinking. I realized that I was more afraid of regret than I was afraid of failure. I could handle failure. I could recover from failure. But I couldn't handle looking back on my life and realizing that I had chosen safety over authenticity. I had chosen comfort over courage. So I quit my job. What a profound moment of clarity. Realizing that regret is more painful than failure. Download the study guide PDF to deepen your understanding of this story. You'll find vocabulary like suffocating, nagging, trajectory, crystallized, authenticity, and more. The guide includes comprehension questions, discussion prompts for advanced learners, and reflective writing activities. Now, let me share the essential wisdom of this story. I didn't have a plan. I didn't have a business idea. I didn't have investors. I just knew that I needed to leave and figure out the rest later. The first 3 months after quitting were the hardest months of my life. I had severe anxiety. I questioned my decision constantly. I thought, what was I thinking? I had a perfectly good job. Why did I leave? I was living off my savings. I was applying to freelance projects. I was getting rejected. I was making very little money. I was scared that I had made a massive mistake. But something else was happening too. Something deeper. I was sleeping better because I wasn't spending my energy being resentful of my job. I was exercising more because I had time. I was reading more. I was learning new skills. I was starting to write, which was something I had always wanted to do but never had time for. And I was starting to feel alive. After about 4 months, I got a freelance project that paid well, and then another one. And then I started getting consistent work. Not a lot of money, but enough to survive. After a year, I had built a small client base. I was making about 70% of what I'd made at my corporate job. But I was working maybe 50% of the hours, and I was infinitely happier. After 3 years, my income had increased. I had more clients. I had more freedom. I had started this podcast, actually. I was doing the work that I was meant to do, the work that aligned with my values, the work that made me feel alive. Now, 7 years later, I can't imagine going back to that corporate job. I look back at that decision to quit, and I realize that it was the most important decision of my life. But I want to be honest with you about something. If I had made the other choice, if I had stayed in that job, I probably would have been fine too. I would have had security. I would have had a pension. I would have had a predictable life. Many people would envy that life, but I wouldn't have been authentically me. And I would have spent my life listening to that nagging voice that kept saying, "You could have tried. You could have been brave." The point of this story is not everyone should quit their job and take massive risks. The point is, listen to that voice inside you that knows who you really are and what you really want. Don't ignore it. Don't rationalize it away. Don't convince yourself to be content with a life that doesn't fit you. Because the cost of ignoring that voice is high. It's not immediately high, but over time it adds up. It becomes regret. It becomes resentment. It becomes a life unlived. And the beautiful thing about courage is that it gets easier. Once you make one brave choice, the next one doesn't seem as terrifying. Once you fail and recover, you realize that failure is survivable. Once you live authentically, you can't go back to inauthenticity. You don't want to. So, my advice to anyone listening, pay attention to that nagging voice. That's your authentic self trying to tell you something. And be brave enough to listen. This story teaches us that the biggest risk in life is not failure. It's regret. It's living a life that isn't truly yours. The study guide PDF in the description has everything you need. Advanced vocabulary, comprehension questions, discussion questions about identity and choice, and writing prompts that will make you reflect on your own life. If you're enjoying this B2 short story, subscribe to English Lab and turn on the notification bell. We have more complex, meaningful stories coming every week. Comment below, have you ever made a big decision that changed your life? What was it, and how did it turn out? Thanks for listening. See you in the next English Lab short story.